Stay tuned for a special announcement from the Fitting Guy. Hey, Fitting Guy here with a special announcement. In a recent video that we were shooting on our new weld-in tank caps, the production crew, who you never see, the huge group of people back there, big payroll, they were encouraging me to make an announcement about something we've been working on for almost a year, actually over a year. We started to notice out there in the blogosphere that there are some disparaging things being said about your host, the Fitting Guy. That, he's just a guy who sits behind a desk, he looks like a salesman, he's probably never touched a wrench in his life. Well, it is true that I had a 35-year career in outside sales, and that's been my primary means of making a living. And to tell you the truth, that's what I do now for Phoenix, even though I own performance products. But God doesn't normally put mechanical aptitude and sales ability in the same human being. But in my case, apparently he did, because I did race for 12 years, from 1978 until 1990. And then I was a mechanic through the 1991 season for hire. And I prepped my own cars. I didn't have a big budget. I was a club racer, as a club racer should be. That is to say, I make all the decisions, I have all the responsibilities for any results we may or may not get. And that's what I love about club racing. Anyway, 1990, I was Club Racer of the Year in the St. Louis region, SCCA. And I like that award particularly because it is about club racing. And anyway, I hung it up after 1990. I hired myself out as a mechanic for the following year. In the last 3 years I was involved in SCCA, I had a 100% finishing record in the cars that I drove and the ones that I prepared. So, yes, I have turned a wrench. After I stopped racing in SCCA, I bought a set of plans, and I went to work in my garage, and 3.5 years later I had an airplane. And I flew that plane for 10 years. It's still flying today, 25 years later. And there's other things. I did spend a year as a mechanic on an IMSA Lights team in 2017, and I was very fortunate to be part of a group of guys who were really good, and we did get a win in Three Rivers. So I'm wearing, this is a IMSA winner's watch. If you're a mechanic in IMSA, they have a nice tradition of awarding the mechanics of the team a wristwatch. And so yeah, I do have a fair amount of time turning wrenches, and I love it. It was the thing that I wanted to do least when I first started racing. However, over time it became a real passion. Well, I stayed away from racing for almost 30 years, and recently I purchased a Swift DB1, and I won't go into detail about what that is, but it is a historically significant Formula Ford, and it's now eligible for vintage racing, and vintage racing is all the rage right now. It's where all the old cars went, it's where all the old drivers went, and it's becoming more competitive, and it looks like they're having a heck of a good time. And so what I'm doing is a ground-up restoration of a Swift DB1. And it's for a couple of reasons. I want to drive again. But also, it's a way to showcase the Phoenix plumbing. And this is a dry sump car, so there's plenty of plumbing on it. There's brake lines to be done. There's fuel lines to be done. There's water lines to be done. There's just all kinds of things. There's some catch tanks that need to be built up. And it's a great opportunity to showcase what a fine product that we have here at Phoenix. So I've been making a video series. It's called Project Swift. We're going to be releasing those videos every so often, probably every other week or so. And the first series is done, which takes us all the way down to the bare frame. So now we're turning around and going the other way. Frame's been media blasted. The frame's been painted. We put a new floor pan on. We're starting to put things back on, and the intent is to really have a cherry on our hands when we're done. And I'd like to recreate the look and feel of being a club racer again. I bought an open trailer, for instance, and it's a dandy. If I can find an old Ford station wagon, Country Squire with the wood paneling, about 1980, I think that would be fun to have as a tow vehicle. But nonetheless, hopefully in 2020, in the spring, I'll be going vintage racing. I would have to start with going to get my license back by being at Gingerman Raceway in May of next year. Got a few hurdles to get over before that time, but we're going to have a little fun with this fitting business, and your host is going to get out there and embarrass himself in our racing car. And anyway, stay tuned. Check them out. There is a playlist. If you go to the Fitting Guy YouTube channel, there is a playlist that is Project Swift, and I think there's 6 videos in the bank right now, including a track day. I did take the car out to Gateway Motorsports Park, now known as Worldwide Technology Speedway, and I was able to do just a few laps in the thing to get a feel for it, and I really enjoyed driving a Swift after all these years. So anyway, stick with us. We're going to have some fun. Thanks for listening, and thanks for your business. For those of you who are purchasing Phoenix Fittings, it has been a long haul to get this thing to where it is today. And we're very proud of the product line we have, and very grateful to our customers. Thanks for watching.